Still in the oil sector, fuel scarcity continues to bite harder in different locations in Nigeria. The government says they started a 15-day emergency fuel supply to ensure the commodity circulates across the length and breadth of the country. The government also disclosed that vessels importing premium motor spirit will continue to berth at the shores to discharge petrol to different depots, from where the products will be distributed to different filling stations. Arise business analyst Chika Mbonu joins me now for this conversation. A bit of what they call highly inflammable conversation this morning, whether the minimum wage or petrol or crude oil. This is a highly controversial, very explosive conversation at this time. They all go to the social fabric, by the way, in terms of common day living, work in a country like this. So this is the undercurrents, as it were. But let's start with the cash, because we can't talk about petrol without the money to buy it. 30,000 minimum wage to 615,000. I haven't done the math. I didn't bring my scientific calculator, but I'll quickly try.
That is. I think they call it minimum wage and living wage. That's the word they use. Not just minimum wage, but the living wage. And they did some calculation.
But it's a difference.
And I arrived at the 615,000 naira. What I'm just saying is that you can sit down actually and do any calculation. I'm sure your own maybe about 5 million naira a month, your living wage, and
well. Now that's putting me on the spot, by the way. You want the disclosure? Okay, you got to get to see my filing.
But 30,000 to 615,000, let's have some dose of realism and what we can afford to pay, what the nation can carry, and the private sector also can afford to pay, because we're not seeing revenues, earnings move that. But having said that, sometimes when you sit back and look at things happening in Nigeria, you look at Ajokuta Steel, how many billions were sunk there uncompleted. You look at email. You look at the refineries we have in Nigeria. Then when they were shut down, producing no petrol, we were given a financial statement that shows that billions and billions and billions were being spent on operational expenses every year. Look at every day, you open the papers, say this DG of this parastatal is at EFCC for 80 billion naira fraud, this other fraud, wastage here. And then you see how regulators, senators or House of people are buying cars of 100 million and so on. So when you look at this and you say, oh, NLC is so unreasonable, how can they be asking for this kind of amount of money? So you balance everything and say, oh, if Nigeria can plug all the wastages that we have, our leakages we have, maybe the 30,000 may not be 615,000 a month, but it may can reach 100,000 naira a month. So those are the considerations, because on 30,000 naira, I don't know who's surviving.
You're asking for a level playing field in a country where the level playing field had never leveled since independence to date.
It's so sad.
What is the realistic amount that you think the government will likely accept from 30,000 to 615?
I think from what we read, the government opening short was between 60 and 70,000 naira a month.
Something close to 100%.
I have a feeling that the 100K will do it.
Perhaps just to triple digits.
Perhaps
not the higher end of it, but the lower end of triple digits.
And
maybe
then,
100 and 150.
And then there's so much wastage in our country. You have so much wealth in the hands of individuals.
Of a few.
Of the few. And,
politically speaking.
Politically speaking. And then you see people are suffering. Again, the other thing also is the ability of these people to be paid. Now, even at the 30,000 naira, we know some governors are still owing arrears of salaries. The consequential impacts arising from the 30,000 naira, minimum wages, a lot of the governors have not implemented them.
So if I push an argument that the removal of fuel subsidy have thrown hundreds of billions into trillions in the hands of the subnationals, so does that make a case for the NLC asking for 613, or like you say, perhaps 100 or 120,000?
See, it's a tragedy sometimes when we look at some of the states. And you see the kind of money that you mentioned that have been in the hand of states, but nothing has changed. You see here states owing pensioners, owing people salary for months, we saw the case of one governor that just left, and the kind of things that came out from his past government.
Well,
and so,
for 8 years.
Yeah, so it's a tragedy. It's a tragedy.
But the country needs money to pay higher minimum wage. So here is the country's golden geese.
The oil line.
Yes.
Again, we have spoken so much about this problem.
Our budget proposal for this year was 1.7.
1.7 million.
We're now around 1.2. Perhaps the figure for April when OPEC releases it,
it's going to be lower than that.
Lower than
1.2. 50 barrels lower than that.
Per day.
On this program, we looked at the president and said, see, declare a state of emergency in oil and gas. Because that's our blood.
What exactly does a state of national emergency really mean? Because what does it mean when you say you declare national emergency?
Let me put it this way.
Yes.
The first thing is this, that...
We've declared it in the food sector, by the way. Yeah. Last year, we haven't seen the food,
The first thing is that everything that has to do with, stolen oil, all these pipeline things, people having their own pipelines, use the force of the state to make sure those things don't happen. The strongest possible force of the state.
We've been using the force of the state.
It has not
Chika.
happened. No. Because there's still a lot of self-interest going on there. You heard when the Senate...
We don't have any extra force unless we're going to ask some folks from abroad.
You heard when the Senate debated it. The senator said that when you pose a security officer to his village, within 2 weeks he's driving a Prado Jeep. Is that the force of state? The issue is the self-interest are still major. So we know about the pipeline vandalism, we know about the theft of crude, but the other one, which is a major one, is the issue of regulation. The role of NU PLC in this, we have transactions that are pending. One, we have the Seplat ExxonMobil transaction.
Yes.
You have the Owando Ajib transaction. Let them step in. Whatever the impediments are.
You think not concluding those things is not an incentive for investors? So that's to come in.
Investors, and then we're losing. Some people.
So if you have done those sales, the money would have come in.
Losing about 700 barrels a day. 700,000 barrels a day, cumulatively from all these assets that are not being sweated. In addition, also there are a lot of assets that are being warehoused, either MPDC or some other listen, they are not being sweated. The other impediments with those who are about Nigerian, the marginal fields, the issues they are facing, challenges they are facing. Let's sit down. Those are things I'm talking about. Let them be frontal and not left to the self-interest that are driving a lot of the issues in the oil and gas industry. The regulatory agencies must work together, hand in hand with the co-venturers to make sure that these things are approved quickly. And so the country can get benefit from these assets. So apart from the issue of, I said, involve the communities, like President Yuradua did that time, go there, okay, see, this is a national asset. You people are taking about how many millions of barrels a day now? Give us some back. You can keep some for the national good. We'll ramp up production to
make a deal. Make a deal.
Make a deal. Because you see, when you talk about pipeline vandalism, is it from Olo, where I come from, that I'm going to go to Niger Delta to go and break a pipe? You must know the people who are doing it now. So inform the communities, give them their rights, meet the obligations, and then as they did, it was not last time, it has worked before. Not all this one, they're sending some distance, some people and whatever, everybody's self-interest, people are worried about their self-interest and pushing that, and nationally, Commonwealth is suffering. I just think that when I talk about this, I just think that, this is our blood. The life of the blood is in the flesh. The life of the flesh is in the blood. The blood that drives the life.
Yes.
The life of Nigeria is oil and gas. But our exchange rate is poor. Oil is no dollar, oil and gas.
I'm not too sure. I'm not too sure how you got fuel to get here, but we've got to let you go in about a minute. So I'm just going to ask the last question with the fuel subsidy. The government says, I think one or two government agencies says the fuel queues will be resolved by yesterday, Wednesday. What do you see coming in here?
There are some generational problems that we have in Nigeria. One of them is power. The other one is fuel scarcity. There was something in the social media the other day about somebody who protested about 30 years ago. 30 years ago.
Protest at the petrol station.
30 years ago.
Are you sure 30 or 40?
Very soon it will be 1 year. Very soon now it will be 1 year. 100 years. Power is up to 100 years, getting to 100 years. No power in Nigeria. Fuel scarcity, like that. And we still, those things are not being resolved in our country.
There's going to be an emergency delivery, about 15 cargoes, whatever it is, and all that. You think that's the solution? Or just an interim?
There's nothing new that you will hear.
I got it. There's nothing new. Nothing really.
When is Port refinery coming on stream? Remember, the Melaka Area and his people have promised us about how many times? Technical completion, something completion. There's several now, you know, I'm an engineer by training, so we know there are so many completions. You know? So when
are you losing faith?
You know, I'm not losing faith. I mean,
okay.
Our problems are very simple that we'll tell.
Keep it alive. It is our first meeting in May, by the way. It's the first business day of the new month. So let's keep hope alive. Thank you so much, Chika Mbonu.
Thank you.
Arise business analyst here on Global Business Report.